Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your support. So this is the blouse that we're going to make today. This is African print. If you want, you can sew 4 to 5 lines of bias on the lower part of your peplum before you will turn it with lining. You can also do the same on your sleeve. I'm going to cut the upper part of the blouse. I folded this fabric with my biggest measurement, which is 46 inches, my bust measurement. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5, plus 4 inches seam allowance, 15.5, plus 1 inch for zip allowance, because I'm going to add zip on the front side. This is 1 inch zip allowance, 16.5. So the fabric is folded into 2 for front pattern. This is starting line, shoulder line. From this shoulder line to this line is 10.5 inches bust point measurement. The bust point I'm working with is 10 inches plus half inch seam allowance is 10.5. From shoulder to this line is 14.5 under bust measurement. The under bust I'm working with is 14 inches plus half inch seam allowance 14.5. From shoulder to this line is 17 inches half length seam allowance to join it to the lower part. This is zip allowance. All my measurement starts from this line. Neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of 3.5. Shoulder measurement, my shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8 plus half inch seam allowance 8.5. I came down by 1 inch for shoulder slant and connected it back to the neck width. This is for front armhole midpoint. I came in by 0.75 and curve it. I'm going to mark the darts. I'm going to mark half of my bust pan measurement because the fabric is folded into 2. My bust pan measurement is 9 inches divided by 2 is 4.5 plus half inch seam allowance 5 inches. So on this line I'll mark 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches. I'll connect the line. This is waistline. I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. Under bust, I'll mark 1.5 on both sides. 1 inch on both sides. So waistline 1 inch on both sides, under bust 1.5, 1.5. So here I'm going to get the midpoint. I'll check what I have. I have 11 inches. Half of 11 inches is 5.5. This is 5.5. I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. I'll connect it to the bust point. This is bust point line. If you want, you can go up by half inch and come down by half inch. I'll connect it to the bust point. So I'm going to blend it. I'm going to connect it from bust point to underbust, from underbust to half length. If you like, you can cut down by ½ inch. So I'm going to connect it. So I'll blend it properly. So on this line, I will extend it by 2 inches. These 2 inches I'm going to cut off so that it will not be short. I'm going to take the measurement. My bust measurement is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5, plus ½ inch that I will cut off here, 12 inches, and 2.5 inches seam allowance, 14.5. So this is 14.5. My waist measurement is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus these 3 inches that I'm going to cut off, 13 inches, and 2 inches seam allowance, 15 inches. I'll connect the line. I've cut it. I cut this center front into 2 because of zip. This is what I have. I'll use it to cut out my main fabric. This is for the back, just basic bodice. Neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of 1 inch. If you like, you can use ½ inch neck depth. 1 inch shoulder slant. On this side, I have ½ inch seam allowance because I want to cut the center back open, but it's optional. From shoulder to this line is that starting line. That starting line is 9 inches, or your chest line, you go down by 1 inch. So from this line to this is 10 inches. This is waistline. From this line to this is half of my bust part measurement, 4.5. I marked ½ inch on both sides and connected it to this point. This is seam allowance to join it to the lower part. So on this side, I have ½ inch seam allowance because I want to cut the center back open. So on this side, you will come in by ½ inch or 1 inch. I'll come in by 1 inch. I'm going to mark the measurements. My bust measurement is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11.5, plus 2 inches seam allowance, 13.5. My waist measurement is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 1 inch for that is 11, plus 2 inches seam allowance, 13 inches. I'll connect it. So this is the waistline. On this side, you will come in by 1/2 inch or 1 inch. I'll mark 1 inch. So from this 1 inch, you will connect it back to this side. From this 1 inch, I'll mark seam allowance. This seam allowance, 1/2 inch. Here I came in by 1 inch. You can use 1 inch or 1/2 inch to avoid the excess at the back. So from this 1 inch, I'll mark another seam allowance, 1/2 inch. So this is for the back. I'll use it to cut out my main fabric. I'm going to cut the lower part of the blouse. I'll minus the upper part of the blouse from the full length of the blouse. The full length of the blouse is 26 inches. The upper part is 17 inches. From shoulder to half length is 17 inches. 26 minus 17 is 9 inches. I'll add seam allowance to join it to the upper part and seam allowance to turn it with lining. So I'll add 1 inch. So 9 inches plus 1 inch is 10 inches. So the length of peplum that I'm going to cut is 10 inches. After sewing 9 inches, I'll also get the radius. To get the radius, I'll work with my waist measurements. My waist measurement is 40 plus 2 inches seam allowance. 2 inches seam allowance is 1 inch on both sides for zip. 40 plus 2 is 42 inches. 42 divided by 6.28. 6.28 is formula for full circle. 42 divided by 6.28 is 6.6. So I will approximate it to 6.75. I'm going to use for my radius is 6.75. The radius is 6.75 plus 10 inches for the peplum is 16.75. I'll measure 16.75 on this side, but I will not just take 16.75. I'll take like 17 or 18 inches. I'll take 18 inches. I'll fold it into 2. So it's folded into 2. On this side, I'll mark 16.75. This is 16.75, but I will use 18 inches. 18 inches, I'll fold it into 2. So it's folded into 4. So now I'm going to cut it. I'll mark my waist radius. This is the folded side. I'll mark the waist radius, then the length of the peplum. 6.75. 6.75. So this is the waist radius. I'll mark the length 10 inches. From the upper part here, 16.75. 16.75 from the upper part. So this is the waist radius and this is the length of the peplum. So I'm going to cut it. So this is the peplum. I'm going to use it to cut out my main fabric. This is my lining. I've used the lining to cut out the peplum. So I'll cut it. I'll do the same on the lining. Watch out for part 2. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.